So don't tell them you're getting rid of them. Tell them you're taking them to Africa as missionaries, and they will be happy to jump on that boat.
Wow.
So the same Elizabeth, the Mayflower brought, the Europeans here to this place. Elizabeth the Mayflower also took the free slave back to Africa. I think 1822, about 86 persons boarded the first batch of people in New York Harbor.
Well, really?
They boarded the Mayflower.
The people that went back, are they like really wealthy now, like those families? Or
oh, yeah. And here's the interesting thing. When they went back, the only life they knew was, the Western life. So they went already met natives in the land. And so they became the elite. So they went as missionaries.
With all of the candidates talking about we need to do more for small business, Fargo and whatnot. As a small business owner in Fargo, I have a hard time wrapping my head around like what exactly that means. Like what can you guys do as the city officials to actually help small businesses?
Yeah. So where I sit right now, the way I see it, when I win, the first thing I want to do is bring together the partners, bring together the stakeholders. Let's do some reviews and see what's working and what's not working. We got to do that. I don't know why the city government is not doing it. I've served with lots of nonprofits, in other places, other countries. I don't see anybody less than. I don't see anybody as don't belong. I see we are all human beings. Right. All of us here, you cut us, it's the same blood, man. We all
Doesn't accountability kind of fall into the same category of accepting that you might be part of a systemic issue in society as your culture goes or your skin color goes? Isn't that also like accountability? I take an issue as somebody who's a minority. I take a really big issue on us thinking, you know what, to offset people looking at us as minorities and that we're all bad people, we should point out how all the white people are bad. Yeah, I think that's such a double negative.
Yeah, but let's be honest with this. I've done lots of research and I can send you some different.
Welcome back to another episode of Ill Eagle Culture Brands Red Tape Talk. I'm your host, John Ostos, a.k.a. Ill Eagle CEO, and I'm here with my two counterparts, Dion, 2 Cup Larry, and Cody, Big Meat Mauk. And today we are doing our 3rd episode of the Fargo election series. So we'd like to welcome today Sekou Sirleaf. Sir, thank you for joining us for this podcast episode. It's a pleasure to have you.
Hey, thank you for having me here. I mean, it's my closest to an alien. I mean, I never told you my wildest dream. I might be sitting next to the space alien, but you just never know.
Well, now we're learning they're coming to be real, right?
With this one, maybe I'm sure.
Yeah. Do you believe in aliens?
Listen, I believe in anything.
Okay.
I believe in anything.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Right on. Well, let's dive in a little bit. As you know, we've already interviewed Michelle Turnberg, and last week we had Dave Pepcorn on.
Oh, so Dave Pepcorn. I watched Michelle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dave was pretty good too. I liked him. He's very upfront and blunt about his belief systems and stuff. So that was interesting, and hopefully we get some of the same energy out of you, man. Like you said, you're just here to be a public servant, and you want to be straightforward and honest. And we like to have fun. We'll try to ask some hard hitting questions and see what we can get out of you for the people to kind of get a different look at you.
Sure. Awesome. You obviously have an accent, so I'm very interested in your backstory. So if you can start with that.
Yeah, you have accent too. We all have accent.
Yeah.
Accent is, what you grew up in, and my background, you're right. I was born and raised in Liberia. And the fun fact about Liberia is that Liberia is the only American colony in Africa. It's not a colony. Liberia was never colonized, but I mean, that's been that long-standing relationship. After the emancipation of slaves in America, they needed to resettle the free slaves, from America back to Africa. these were people who've never been to Africa. They were born and raised here. And Liberia became the hub. That's where they went to. And so they founded a country there, and they called it Liberia, the land of liberty. So those were Americans. So I tell people I was an American before I became an American. So when I come back to America, I'm just coming back home because this is where my forefathers came from. And they went there and started a country. So the fun thing is it was started as a church. The country was actually started as a church because I think there were some social issues going on here in America at the time. Because when they brought the slaves here, they were all people dark like me, some darker than me. But all the people they took back, they either look like Dion or John, you know. So I was like, okay, you didn't take this light-skinned yeah, how come they're coming back? So we knew there were some issues going on here. There was some social crisis, you know, with marriages, you know, slave masters, you know, going with slave women, slave masters going with the slave women. And so the children were mixed, so that created some crisis. So it's like, hey, how do we solve this problem? And that's the real story behind how Liberia got founded. So it was like, oh, we got to get these guys out of here. But they're not going to go because they don't know anywhere Africa. They were born and raised here. Where they're going to go? So it's like, we might create another crisis if we decide to push them out. So somebody advised them, said the best way you can get them out, they are religious. So don't tell them you're getting rid of them. Tell them you're taking them to Africa as missionaries, and they will be happy to jump on that boat.
Wow.
So the same Elizabeth, the Mayflower brought, you know, the Europeans here to this place. Elizabeth the Mayflower also took the free slave back to Africa. I think 1822, about 86 person boarded the first batch of people in New York Harbor.
Well, really?
They boarded the Mayflower.
The people that went back, are they like really wealthy now, like those families? Or
oh, yeah. And here's the interesting thing. When they went back, the only life they knew was, you know, the Western life. So they went and already met natives in the land. And so they became the elite. So they went as missionaries. That's why if you read the 1847 Constitution, Liberian Constitution, the preamble says Africa acknowledging with devout gratitude to God for the blessing of the Christian religion that we have come to Africa to evangelize and to civilize. That's how it started. So 3 churches started the country.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, the Presbyterian church should have gone first. And when they got ready to go, they packed up to leave. Then the leader got ill. So their trip got delayed. And then the Baptist church went in 1822, followed by the Methodist church. And then the Presbyterian, that should have been first, they went third. So if you go downtown Monrovia, you see those 3 churches, the First Baptist Church, which is called Prophetess Baptist Church, First United Methodist Church, and then the First Presbyterian Church of Liberia.
And it's mostly Christian?
Christian, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So even the Constitution, everything was Christian.
Really?
Until 1986, before they amended the Constitution and to bring in Islam, you know, but it was pure Christian.
Wow.
Yep. So the first land they landed on, they called that Providence Island because the first place they went, as they sailed, they got to this island called Shebro Island, which is now in Sierra Leone. And this island was before in Liberia. But because Liberia was never colonized, one of those countries in Africa that was never colonized, we didn't have army, nothing. So the British were in Sierra Leone, the French were in Ivory Coast, our neighbors in the north, Sierra Leone is our neighbor in the west, and then Ivory Coast our neighbor in the east, Sierra Leone is our neighbor in the west, and the Guinea, the Republic of Guinea is our neighbor in the north. So you had the French in the east and the north, in Guinea and Ivory Coast, and the British were in the western Sierra Leone. So Liberia was just there, no border, nothing, no unified army. It was not a country. They just had different tribal communities. So then the free slaves from America go there, they settle down. The first land they bought was tithe and offering from churches here in America. They got there, they got to Shebro Island. The natives were very hostile to them, and they were dying from malaria too. So the natives, they didn't want them there, so they got back on the boat, and they just decided to pray. Okay, God, we here, we all the way from America. We don't know where to go. So they're on the open sea, and they just pray, and they say, okay, God, if you want us to be here, just direct us where you want us to go. So they hosted their sail, and the wind of God just blew them right downtown Monrovia on that piece of island, and they called it Providence Island because they said the Providence of God brought us here. So they called that Providence Island. The first church they built, they called it Providence Baptist Church. So those 3 churches are older than the country.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty cool.
So after they settled and saw all the resources, they were like, you know what? It's not that bad. We can start a country. So 1847, they declared independence, and the U.S. refused to acknowledge the independence. Britain's acknowledged the other countries 14 years after before America recognized the independence because that was not a purpose.
Wow.
So now we can't have a free black country in the world. That means we have to attend meetings with this. These guys were slaves. How can they, get equality to be a sovereign country? They didn't like that. So that's how Liberia was founded.
Wow, that's an interesting
So
story.
when Liberians come here, we're not foreigners. As we hear people say all over the air, go back to where, this is where we came from. This is where we came from. We don't know any other country. This is where we came from. You pushed us out to go start a new country. We started it, we come back home. Then you tell us to go back. People need to read their history.
So this might sound like a dumb question then, but does that mean then you are a natural citizen of the United States, or did you still have to go through?
I still had to go through the process.
Okay.
I mean, Liberia honestly should be
It should be
the first state in America.
Sure.
If you see the flag, it's the same U.S. flag. It only has, the difference is U.S. flag has 50 stars, Liberia flag has 1. The significance of the 1 star in the Liberian flag is it represents the only independent countries in Africa at the time. That's why it was 1 star.
Wow.
And then it has 11 stripes. I think 5 white and 6 red, I think, which represented the 11 men that signed the Declaration of Independence. The whole Constitution, everything was done right here in Pennsylvania.
I'll say I'm a recruiter for the Guard.
Yeah.
We get a ton of Liberians
I know.
wanting to join.
Yes.
Ton.
Yeah, they're just coming home.
That's the most out of all of the African area there. It's always Liberians.
Yep. So Liberia is English. Our government is after the U.S., our books, everything. My country tastes of thee is what we sang in school when I was in Liberia growing up. Everything you did here, that's what we did. Everything's the same. So people just don't read history, and then they just make a lot of noise.
Sure. How old were you when you came back?
I was in my late 30s, early 40s.
Okay. Later on in life then.
I used to be back and forth, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was busy back in Liberia, doing a lot of stuff, and I just go back and forth, meetings, stuff, and then I came back again in 2013, 2014, and got caught up here with the Ebola crisis. Yeah, and Delta suspended their flight. I lost lots of precious people, from my church and community. So my church was like, no, don't come. If you come back, you're not going to survive, because I have to visit everybody that got exposed to the Ebola crisis and all that. So
that happened back in Liberia?
In Liberia, yeah, 2013.
How many people?
Oh, more than 5,000 people died.
Do you know how that got started?
You know what? I was here in the States attending a conference, and when I heard Ebola had started, but it started in Guinea, our neighbor in the north. So Medicine Sans Frontier, they were working on that.
And let me guess, they had a vaccine shortly after it got started?
Yeah, well, I don't know what happened, but the news started to report that, hey, there's Ebola in West Africa, started in Guinea. Liberia was saved, and then before we know it, what happened was the Guineans, they got really mad. So they burned down the offices of MSF, Medicine Sans Frontier. They burned it down. Like, you're not going to destroy our country with this virus. After they burned down the office, the following week we heard, Ebola is now in Liberia. And then from Liberia to Sierra Leone, because those are the 3 countries right there in the MRU. That's a river called the Mano River. So that's the MRU, Mano River Union, Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone. And it was very devastating, because the Guineans, they didn't think it was real, because Ebola happened in the Congo. Ebola was named after the river in Congo in the 70s, and they got contained. So if Ebola was to resurface, how did it cross border from the Congo straight to?
Especially after COVID, people were questioning.
So people were very mad.
Should we go back and look at all these outbreaks that we have and figure out how? Because now we know, like, the government is they're willing to do anything.
They can do anything. I don't trust them.
And they'll do stuff in order for certain stuff to happen, so people get rich.
I agree, because they had it. There was and I'm not saying you can go check these things out. After the Second World War, there was Britain was supplying the U.S. with rubber, and the U.S. was supplying Britain with wheat and those kind of stuff. So I think there was some issues between Britain and America at the time. So America decided, okay, we need to produce our own rubber. Where did it go? Liberia. Liberia had the largest rubber plantation in the world.
Oh, wow.
Firestone. Firestone rubber plantation. It's Liberia they went to. Millions and millions of acres of lands. It's still there. And so at Firestone, they had a biological lab there. They had all the chimps that they were testing these things on. When they got done with whatever they wanted, they closed the lab down. You can Google right now on your phone. Just say Monkey Island. And that's where they took all those apes and released them on an island. They're there. People go there till date and feed them.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a biological lab. Go do your own research. Don't take my word for it.
So I suppose you're probably not a big fan of Fauci then, huh?
Well, no. I mean, it's totally different thing. I don't think Fauci was the problem. The problem was our politics. It's not Fauci. Because do you know that Ebola came to America?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ebola came to America when Obama was president.
There was a couple of cases.
What happened? Not
much.
No. Obama contained Ebola. Ebola was more deadly than COVID. If one person in this building was exposed to Ebola, everybody in the building could just die in a matter of days. That's how terrible it was.
I don't remember Obama shutting down the country and quarantining everybody.
Yeah, but hold on. He did not have to.
Right.
The reason he did not have to, when the one person that I knew flew to America and they realized he had a virus, they did contact tracing immediately. Everybody he came in contact with, they quarantined them. And that's how they contained it. When COVID came, Donald Trump said, "Oh no, it's nothing. It'll go away by the sun. It will go once the heat comes." He downplayed it. That's why it spread. Obama did not downplay it. If Obama had done what Trump did and said, "Oh, it's just one person. It's nothing. We'll do this," it would have been devastated.
Yeah.
So when it started from that boat, if he had contained everybody, did contact tracing, quarantined those people, and took it serious, it wouldn't have been the way it was. So the two presidents had two different approaches. So it was not what Dr. Fauci did. It's what the presidents did.
The reason why I bring up Dr. Fauci is because he is the person that was in charge of the AIDS pandemic too.
Yeah.
With NZT and the amount of people that died from all of that.
Yeah.
So he is no innocent into any of this.
Yeah, but the coronavirus was evolving. It's not
from
like
gain of function research. Yeah, they made that virus from.
Well, I don't know that.
Well, I'm just saying, per their emails, their own emails, which he testified in front of Congress and lied. And now it's been too long; they can't charge him for it. But he was proven to be lying to Congress about gain of function research in the Wuhan lab. So they were manufacturing that virus.
Okay.
And me personally, my personal opinion, I don't think it was a leak. I don't think it was a leak. Like the amount of safety protocols that lab has would be astronomical. The chances of it just leaking.
Yeah.
Not only that. Listen, we can play politics all day long, but the fact that happened right when it did is very suspicious. And look what the outcome of what happened.
No, I hear you there. And I think, for me, my style of leadership is not shifting blames. I don't try to shift blames or, blame people for what happens. I think the buck at the end of the day, Fauci, if he dropped the ball, whatever happened, the buck still have to stop with whoever was in the Oval Office. Because everybody, I don't mind blaming Fauci. Everybody blaming Fauci, but what about Trump? They didn't have any blame in it too, because the buck stopped with him. You could have told Fauci, no, we're doing this X, Y, Z. No, we're doing X, Y, Z. Again, like I said, when Ebola came to America, Fauci was still there. But Obama took the right steps to contain it. I remember people that travel, I have relatives, friends that came from the airport. They gave you a phone. They gave you a phone and they trace you through that phone for 30 days. They did all the right things.
I think the difference between Ebola and COVID was, it seems like Ebola and I was young when that happened, but it seems like Ebola was more of a centralized location, whereas COVID was a worldwide location because it started in China, and in China is basically a hub to the world, and so it spread throughout the world very quickly.
No, you're right. It was a pandemic, but however, individual countries still had the right. They still developed their own protocol. So the U.S. should have developed its own protocol to contain it. That's what we say. I know it was universal, but our approach. The first thing, we denied. We were living in denial. That was the first thing we denied instead of taking it serious. When they got out of control, then before we decided, okay, we'll do. Even we as citizens, when we said, okay, let's do social distancing, let's wear masks. There were still people who politics say, oh, no, you're going to be like Gestapo. You want to make us to be like Germany. You force us to wear masks.
I was one of them.
Yeah, I saw parents, moms for liberty or whatever, people in the street telling people not to wear masks. I saw people on television, Fox News, telling people not to take the vaccine.
Fauci was one of them.
Yeah, telling people not to take the vaccine when they themselves took the vaccine. How do I know? Because when they went to the correspondent dinner, the protocol was if you have not taken the vaccine, you cannot come to the correspondent dinner. So the people who were on TV telling other people don't take the vaccine, they took it and went to the correspondent dinner. How evil is that?
It almost feels like if it was just one big operation that was intentionally designed to confuse and mislead people. Like, sure, I believe Trump was a culprit, but so was Biden.
Everybody.
And everyone was just involved including us, but I believe Fauci, and what was the lady?
Dr. Birch.
I mean, they kept talking in circles about everything. It was super crazy. So now we're getting into some good discussion though, because this is good. This is good point of view.
You got to take a head. No, that was a good warm up though.
But see, COVID is obviously it's personal to everybody, but me specifically because of some of the stuff that I went through during that time period. But then looking back at it, I think that. There's so much that we can learn as citizens, just regular everyday citizens, from what happened during that time period.
I hear you, but here's the thing. I love to be very honest, right? This was not the worst first time going through a pandemic.
Sure.
We've been going through it. We've been measles outbreak, smallpox, all kinds of outbreaks, and people have been taking vaccine. Okay, so it's not like it was strange.
Yeah.
The only reason COVID was different was because of the occupant of the Oval Office. People started telling people don't take vaccine. This was the first time in the world. It was all our politics because we became so tribal, and we are still tribal today, that it's not about wrong or right anymore. It's about which tribe you belong to. So, I believe this is my president. So if he says it's fake news, we all accept it as fake news. I don't believe in this other person. I don't care what he has to say. I think that was that attitude that made COVID bad, because the world has faced all these things before. But the other leaders in the past, their approach was different. Today, politicians have just pissed at us against each other. That I don't even care what you want to say, whether it's right or wrong, because you don't belong to my tribe. I don't care. You don't care what I have to say, whether I'm right or wrong.
Do you think that mindset's changing and reverting back to people getting along better? And
I really pray that we change that mindset, because it's killing us.
Yeah,
it's killing us.
I think it just depends on the topic at hand, where people stand now, because like for the most part, we were super pro Trump, and trusted his agenda and that he was gonna bring America back to the standard, and things were going to be better because we felt like it was such a hellacious ride with Biden and the other options we had, Kamala. But now what we're learning is, like there was the side of the line, like you said, there's people who it wasn't about right or wrong. It was about who they aligned with. Yeah, very tribal. That's how people were with Obama. People were very tribal. People were very tribal about Kamala and very tribal about Biden. It just mattered who you hated the most and then who you decided to align yourself with in that regard. But what we've learned is if you go back in time and just very briefly back in history, Obama was just as bad and corrupt as any other president we've had.
American
president. all of our government and all of our presidential candidates and people who were actually president, they've all been corrupt. They've all, lined their own pockets. They've all taken care of themselves. They've used politics. They used our tax dollars to fund wars, to make money on the back end. I mean, we've seen it all. Where does someone like you, so we didn't really touch on this too hard, but you're a pastor as well. Where does someone like you with your belief system come into politics, and how do you align that with your faith in God?
So I was asked the question. I've been asked this question over and over again. I'm a middle of the road guy.
Okay.
I don't believe in extremes. That has been my personal thing. I think I hate anything on the extreme, because I think anything taken on the extremes becomes a weakness. So the two establishment parties.
You don't see that as maybe being naivety too, though?
Yeah, I think that's
as a leader of even just a mayor of a city.
To be the middle of the road guy?
Well, yeah, I mean, like to be like, I don't want to believe in extremes, knowing that we have so much extremes. This is
what I mean, right? Most time the right is far right, the left is far left.
Right.
And we're not bringing people together.
Correct.
That's what I mean. I'm the middle of the road guy. I prefer to bring people together.
Got you.
I don't have to like you to listen to you. You don't have to be my friend to talk to me.
I agree with that 100%.
Let us look at a bigger picture. Like now we're talking about Fargo. I don't care about your political persuasion. What I care about, how can we all work together to make Fargo a better place? Why you still remain you and I remain me? Let's look at the bigger picture. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about the city. So let's put aside our differences. Let's put aside our extremes, and let's come to the table and let's discuss. Just like the city commission, they failed. They couldn't achieve anything because they won't talk together. Only 5 people. They can achieve. All the votes were always 3-2, 2-3, because nobody's willing to talk to the other person. We can achieve things like that. Democracy means, hey, you believe in what you believe, I believe in what I believe, but we can have some bipartisan discussion. I know this is what you care about, this is what I care about. How can we find a middle ground? That's what democracy should be about. And then the city will be winning. But if you say listen, I have a friend, okay? And they're right here in Minneapolis. She's Christian, raised by Christian parents. My buddy from high school, his brother, they're Muslim, okay? And they met, and they decided to get married because they love each other. And she said, hey, listen, I love you. I want to be with you. If we start to have children, the children are going to go to church with me. The dude said, I love you. I don't care. You can take the children to church. He's Muslim. She's Christian. They're married. And they've been able to raise their children. One of their kids just graduated from college this year. And they've been married for years. Whereas 2 Christians can't even stay together for 6 months. They're divorced. So it's not about what you believe. He's Muslim. She's Christian. But they still communicate because they're looking at a bigger picture. They're looking at what works for both of them and for their children. And I think that's how we can achieve things, to build a better city, build a better community, build a better country. But when people become so extreme and we say we can't talk together, nope, I can't hear you. No, you can't come close to me. Who suffers? The city suffers. And that's what happened to the city commission. So 5 people could not work together. And now all of them trying to blame Mahoney. I'm like, get out of here. How you going to blame Mahoney? Denise Kopak has 1 vote. Michelle Thunberg got 1 vote.
Right.
Dave Pepcorn got 1 vote. John Strand got 1 vote. Mahoney got 1 vote.
Yeah.
You a commissioner. You didn't use your vote to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if you become mayor, it would be the same thing. You will still have that 1 vote. If you refuse to talk to other people you're working with, you will still fail. That's what I said. Anybody who failed as a city commissioner should not be elected as mayor because you will still fail.
Mhm.
And that's the problem with the extreme.
Yeah.
That's why I'm the candidate who try to bring people together. Let's come together. What's the issue? Let's discuss it. If we can talk together, we can overcome any challenge.
And the mayor is supposed to be more bipartisan. And,
More bipartisan.
yeah, and so you feel you stand that ground the strongest.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's who I am. I'm a middle of the road guy.
Yeah.
I love all of you guys. I love everybody in Fargo. Even with our different persuasions, I still love everybody because we can all together build a great city while we still believe in different things.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at a bigger picture. I'm looking at our young people. I'm thinking about how can we beat down today the poverty rate in Fargo is at 12.8%. Give me a wild guess. No right, no wrong answer. Who do you think are the poorest people in Fargo? No right. Hey, no judgment zone.
Dion,
You mean race?
Anybody, yeah.
Or what does that mean?
No. Who do you think are the poorest people in Fargo? No right or wrong answer.
I'm gonna say Somali population.
Okay, I'll take that. What do you think, dear?
I would say the younger generation of people, so people between like 18 and 20.
Yeah, you're right. I think you heard me on many.
I might have.
No, you're right.
I might have caught it on the and just like
the poorest people in Fargo today are
I
young
probably
people
did, honestly.
between the ages of 16 and 34. But
Yeah.
I usually settle down with 18 because 16, 17, they're still minor.
Sure.
Right.
So 18 to 34 are the poorest people in Fargo. How do we accept that? How can we accept that? That's the whole future of the city.
Yeah.
So my concern is how do we navigate that poverty? You can't have that level of poverty and then you talk about public safety because crime thrives where there is poverty. Poverty is a breeding ground for crime.
Why do you think that's the case with that sector of the population, and then how do we fix that?
Oh, yeah. I think that the problem, there are so many components to that. Number one is we don't see young people. We just think they're young and dumb. We just think we don't give them opportunities. If we say these people are future leaders, then we have to start giving them opportunity now. We have to start bringing them closer so that they see how things work, how government works, so that Fargo has an aging population. Who replaces the aging population? It's these young people. So we have to bring them closer. That's why I'm telling the young people.
And how do we do that?
If you support me and there's so many things we can do. Okay. We have to provide some incentives. And some of the things contributing to that, you see, Fargo is a college town. We are having massive brain drain in Fargo. When they say, oh, there are jobs in Fargo, these are all entry-level jobs. That is why the greatest housing in Fargo are apartments. Apartments are more than homes. I think about 53% or more of people live in apartments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want people to have access to homes because that's how you get tied to the city. People in the apartments, they are non-committal. You know, they can move anytime. But when you own a home, you know this is home. You're not leaving. So we have to make it easier for young people to own homes. Every year now we're in graduation season, John. And every year we put out these young professionals from all our colleges. They're not staying in Fargo. They leave. They go to Minneapolis, they go to Chicago, they go to other places because that's where they think there are better opportunities. So we lose them. We train them and we lose them. Yeah. We have to provide incentives. We have to make it easier for people to buy homes. I want these young professionals to graduate, get a job here, start a family here, and live here. People have been priced out. Mm-hmm. So people have to commute from Barnesville to come work in Fargo. People have to commute from Hillsborough to work in Fargo. People commute from Castleton and other places and work in Fargo because that's where they can get at least affordable housing. And that shouldn't. I want people who work here to live here. So those are some of the things we can do. Let's remove some of the inconsistencies. Let us review our permit, process. Let us some of those uncertainties that we have to move. Builders don't like uncertainties. Let people know everything before they even get their permit. Some of those delays. I was in a debate at one of the Realtor Association, and Michelle Turnbull was like, there's so much delay in getting permit. I said, you shouldn't be complaining. You're the commissioner. If you think there's delay, do something to change that. That's why they elected you. When you hear Dave Pepcon complaining, the city is weak on crime, who will fix it? That's why you got elected. You're the commissioner. So why are you not doing anything about it? You're complaining about things that should happen when you are in a position to create a change. So there's so many things that we can do to fix those things. We need to support small businesses because small businesses are the backbone of Fargo economy. These are the people that employ the residents.
Yeah.
And then we can keep our dollars here instead of depending on major corporations that come invest here and take the money out. We need to support small businesses. There's so many things that we can do. Families have to do 2-3 jobs. I'm just from a meeting right now. I had to run out. And that's why we were talking. Families are working 2-3 jobs. They don't even have time to spend with their kids at home. Right. There's so many things we can do to fix some of these things.
Yeah, you hear that a lot with all of the candidates talking about we need to do more for small business, Fargo and whatnot. As a small business owner in Fargo, I have a hard time wrapping my head around like what exactly that means. Like what can you guys do as the city officials to actually help small businesses?
Yeah, so where I sit right now, the way I see it, when I win, the first thing I want to do is bring together the partners, bring together the stakeholders. Let's do some reviews and see what's working and what's not working. We got to do that. I don't know why the city government is not doing it. I've served with lots of nonprofits, in other places, other countries. And after every period, after every project, we sit down and we discuss, okay, what went well, what went not well. And then we try to see, okay, why did this not go right? And we try to fix that for the next project. We can do the same thing as city. So what's going well? Bring the business owners together. I can sit here and proffer the solutions all by myself. That business owner needs to come to the table. Let's identify these people. Let's do what we call in project management stakeholders mapping. Let's find the stakeholders for the particular topic under review. Let's review them. How have we been doing things in the past? Why is this not working? Let's compare that with other cities. We can use other cities as our model and see how this thing is working. What are they doing that we can imitate and we can do with the input of these business owners? The problem with City Hall in Fargo is that they're tone deaf. Mm-hmm. They think they can sit at City Hall and make all the decisions without even inviting the business owners. It starts with a dialogue. We need to come together. That's why I am that only candidate in the race who wants to bring people together. Everything, the debt. If we want to handle the debt, how do we do it? Let's bring some professionals together. Fargo is blessed with professional people. Right. Multi-million-dollar companies, they pay hundreds of thousands of dollars every year, for consultancy, right? And people tell them, hey, you can do X, Y, Z. Why can't the city government do the same? There are so many professional universities. People will even be willing to do these things free because they also are invested in the city. So we can find a path forward together. But, I think it's insulting to find a city replete with so many professionals and yet nobody wants to enlist their services. And then we all suffer for it.
I got a tough one for you.
Okay, come on, man.
Do you need a Kevlar vest?
Yeah. Let's do it.
If you were elected mayor, would you bring back the DEI department?
That's an interesting question. I get that a lot. When I'm elected mayor, the first thing I want to do is to review what happened. Why was the department ended? I'm a person, I don't make decisions willy-nilly. I'm a data-driven person. I love to see the data. I love to make informed decisions. Okay. So it's not, I'll bring DEI. No, we could even decide to reinvent it. And that's why I keep talking about our politics, because people are so in a hurry to cancel other people that we don't even do a deeper dive. DEI does not mean unqualified black people taking out jobs from white people. But those who cancel it, that's what they made DEI to be. They just put a black face on DEI and they say, oh, yeah,
What is DEI in your perspective?
It's not in my perspective. In the perspective of why DEI was created: diversity, equity, and inclusion. After the death of George Floyd, the whole country, companies, Target and other people, they realized, okay, there's some issues going on with opportunities. We feel that some people are being left out. And they listed these people. Veterans, DEI cover veterans. DEI cover women. DEI cover the LGBT community. DEI covers disabled communities. DEI cover minority communities. Based on other people's political persuasion, they decided DEI meant black. So they decided to cancel it. That was what all that created DEI, to give opportunity to women, to veterans, to disabled community, to LGBT community, to minority communities, to give them opportunities. That's what it was.
So what was the department? Do you know what the department was consisted of? Like, what was their job? Because they said, since their annual budget, according to this, was $282,000 a year, and then they wanted to boost it to just under $300,000 a year.
You mean here in Fargo?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, I serve as the Fargo Human Rights Commission chair. So, at least I think I'm familiar with that. They wanted to cut because every year we have a budget deficit. According to the city, they wanted to have a cut in the budget to save, I think, $1.2 million. $1.2 million, I think. I might not be right on that number. I think 1.2 or 1.6 million. That's what they wanted to save. So they decided to do a cut. And the cut they decided to do was DEI. And then they went to the Department of Health and cut one position. All those two cuts only produced $600,000. So if your budget, you wanted to save 1.2 or 1.6 million, or out of 2.1 million, I don't know why I'm missing the number now, and you cut DEI and one department in the Department of Health, and you only save 600,000, you still have not got to the cap. Mm-hmm. So why didn't you continue cutting?
Right.
Why did you cut DEI and stop? Because it was a pretext. It was not about a budget.
Right.
It was a pretext. So once they cut DEI, they stopped. And WDAY asked me, I said, why didn't they continue? Because it was not about cutting budget. It was about ending DEI, because some people believe, we've been hearing all over the news, somebody will say, oh, if I'm flying a plane and I saw a black man in the cockpit, I would be so afraid. Is he qualified? That was so dumb. And I said that from the dais. I said it all. That was lame. You know what it means to earn a wing to sit in the cockpit? I flew a little bit when the Fargo Jet Center went to UND for commercial aviation. You don't sit in the cockpit. You have to get all your certification. Whether you're black, white, woman, or whoever you are, when you earn that wing, you got the same training everybody got.
Sure.
You have to earn a certain number of hours. Everybody goes through the same process. So for somebody to say, oh, if I saw a black person, I would be afraid, that person was dumb, because you don't know what you're talking about.
Right. But I'm asking, what is this specific department? What did they do in Fargo to earn or to garner the need for just under $300,000 a year? Like, what
was that money going to?
Were they in charge of like looking at all the hires in the city government?
I know for a fact when they created the Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion and brought Dr. Terry Hogan, they put the human rights under that department. Their job was to be the bridge between the city and the community, make sure there are equal opportunity hiring, make sure that marginalized people had opportunities. Make sure you listen to the concern of the community. There were so many good things they were supposed to do. The reason it failed is because they were set up to fail. The motive behind creating the department was not right. It's just after George Floyd, everybody was doing it. It's one of those check the box.
They were pandering.
Yeah, we just got to do it.
Yeah.
To pander to the, that's what happened. Even the Human Rights Commission.
So wouldn't the fact that they're pandering kind of allude to the idea that DEI hiring was a bad idea because they were just pandering? So like
the methodology behind
it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I believe in a meritocracy. I think that's, like, I don't give a damn what color you are as long as you're qualified for the job. If you start identifying that people of certain races and creeds and whatnot are in positions that they aren't qualified for, or in the case of, like, the pilots and stuff, there was a lot of them that didn't have the hours that they were supposed to have to fly. They were making mistakes. I don't know by name, but I mean, we were seeing a lot of that stuff in the news, which we know the news
and where the
highlights
news was
things.
Coming from.
Right. But here's the thing. You can't say that Trump convinced everyone that fake news was a real thing when it wasn't, but then say it was fake news for these kinds of issues. You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, I'm always like, I try to walk the line as much as I can too, but I try to look at both sides of the coin and be like, okay, how come it's not fake news if Trump says it, but it's fake news if it's about, the more liberal side of the politics, you know what I mean? So for me, I feel like a meritocracy destroys all of that. If you do away with DEI and you just make people have to earn their positions because they're qualified and regardless of their skin color, then that we have a good system.
No, but I think the people who created DEI just like affirmative action, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were good intention behind it because you look at a quota. Right. So, yes, I believe in meritocracy too. But if all of us graduated from the same university and you see on this job, you have, let's assume 100 employees, 99, and I'm not a race bidder, right? But let's assume 99 people there are all white.
Yeah.
You hire only one black person, or 99% that are male. Right. You hire only one female. Or 99% are straight, and you hire one LGBTQ. Mm-hmm. It's not because the person is not qualified.
How do we know that, though? Okay,
because through resume, you interview people. Uh-huh. Okay, so I think that's what they were trying to address. Give everybody equal opportunity. It had nothing to do with qualification. Because just because you saw somebody woman, somebody handicapped, somebody veteran, somebody black in the position, and the first assumption, I don't think they were qualified.
We never used to think that until they introduced DEI to us. But like as a society, I don't remember ever looking around and being like, damn, that's a black person or a gay person doing that job. Now I don't think they're going to do it right, until they told us DEI is a thing and you have to see it this way. Like, it made people believe, and particularly for me,
that people are not qualified.
Right. You know what I mean? So it's like your example, if you had 100 people who all graduated from the same college and 99 of them were white and one of them was black.
All right, let me break this.
But hold on. So where did we get the statistic that says that there was more black people qualified for the position and they only gave it to white people because they were white? You know what I mean? So it's like the opposite end of the argument that you're making.
Instead of discussing hypothetically, let's be real. Let's use Fargo City Hall as an example.
Okay.
How many Native Americans work at Fargo City Hall? You know the number?
None.
0.
Yeah.
How many Hispanic works at Fargo City Hall? You know the number?
None.
0.
Yeah. But why?
Oh, hold on. How many black people work at Fargo City Hall? You know the number?
0.
The question I ask you, are you telling me there's no qualified Native American in Fargo?
Oh, I'm not saying that, but
are you telling me there's no qualified other people to work there? So then why are there no other people, only one
Did they
set
apply?
of people work there? That's the question I asked.
Do we have question, or do we have proof they applied?
And they get angry. I've asked the question as a human rights chair. I've asked Marco, the city administrator. I asked the same question about the fire department. I asked the same question about the police department. And that's how we see some of these changes. I said, why are there no other people working in City Hall?
Yeah.
The direct question was, Is it that no other person's applying for these jobs, or you intentionally not hiring them? And then they just get so angry when I ask that question. Because are you telling me in this city, no other people have qualification to work at City Hall? In the fire department, I have a young man walk up to me. He said, I went to school, I studied everything about fire department, I got all my certification. Since I've been in Fargo, I've been applying to the Fargo Fire Department, they have never hired me. He got all his certifications.
Yeah. Did you look at his background to see if there was anything that was forbidding him from?
He's in the military.
Yeah, that doesn't. I know
No,
a lot of bad people in the military. Cody might be one of them.
He's active duty military.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me, oh, maybe something in his background. That's why. Are you telling me the Fargo Fire Department? This guy has all the certification. Right. He passed all the tests. He said he has been applying. And I mean, he has never been hired.
They don't hire a ton of people in the fire department.
Yeah, I was going to say there could be multiple reasons other than what you're saying.
Then they should tell the public what.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The fire department does not hire people frequently.
But they hire people. They got staff.
Yeah,
all the staff are white.
So
you can't say they don't hire.
So I'm of the
it's
opinion.
Pretty rare.
I understand that, but they still hire.
And they don't hire a lot of new people either.
But there are staff there, right? There are people working there.
100%.
So why don't we have any other person? That's the question we don't want to answer.
I think so. Let me pose this example.
Yes.
I always say, and this is because where I come from, gang life, Southern California, LA, San Diego, and I've had to make my way for myself.
Sure.
Right. It took a different community though, right? I could have never done what I'm doing back home in California.
Yeah.
Here, there was the ability for me to climb and do things and just put my work effort, my effort towards trying to accomplish something different. I feel like because we want to be like do good, feel good kind of people, just naturally, like you seem to be very much like you want to be a neutral, you want to love everybody. I'm all for that. I agree 100%. However, I feel like culturally we ruin it for ourselves.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know if we can always blame the politicians and the rules and the legal system and all that stuff because we can't get a leg up. Because as somebody who's fought back against what my generational curses would be, and I have brothers and sisters who maybe don't necessarily lead the same life that I do, I can't understand why they don't just try harder. I've never had anybody forbid me because of my skin color or my race from accomplishing the goals that I want to accomplish if I keep trying. But I can tell you with great certainty that my culture, and I'm speaking on behalf of Black and Mexican culture and just minority culture in general, we don't tend to want to try to do a lot of these things. There's not a lot of Black and Mexican politicians, especially in a town like Fargo, North Dakota. So is it really the city's, political parties that are responsible for the fact that more people aren't applying, or is it just that's just the way the cookie crumbles because of the demographics we live in?
Yeah, I don't buy into that politics, and I'm looking at it holistically, right? Not just Fargo, right? Trump 2.0, when he got inaugurated, and what's his name? Sean Duffy became, transportation secretary. Planes started falling from the sky. Yeah. Without even knowing who the pilots of those planes were. The first thing the president was saying, he says DEI.
Yeah.
Everybody just said DEI. Then they come to review, the pilots were white. Then everybody just keeps quiet. That is unhealthy. If mayhap happens, we wait for the evidence. We analyze the situations. Wait for the FAA and other people in charge to come up with a conclusion.
Yeah.
But when the Oval Office is the first to speak and say it's DEI, that's troublesome. I understand you think other people are now working harder. Let me tell you, John, I was MAGA before MAGA started. Mm-hmm. I was hardcore MAGA.
Yeah.
Because as a preacher, when I finally decided I was ready to stay in the U.S., before I came here, the only news I watched was Fox News. I didn't watch any other channel.
Right.
Nobody hated Obama, Hillary Clinton, the Democrats more than me. Before Trump even came down that escalator 2015, I was already MAGA. I did not watch anything Fox News. I visit my relatives. They got CNN on. I tell them to turn the channel off. I said, these people are lying you. They're feeding you garbage. This is nonsense.
Right.
You know, I would take the remote, I change it to Fox News. That's the only thing I watch. I follow publication that said Michelle Obama was a man. Do you know I believe that? I did. I started looking at her picture. They talk about her bicep, her tricep, and all these things. I say, yeah.
I still don't know.
Yeah.
I still don't know. Yeah.
No. I'm confessing. I'm telling you. I believe 100%. I say, yeah, this is a man that transition. I believe all these things. I only watch Fox News.
Yeah.
I was hardcore MAGA. So when Trump came down the escalator, I said, yeah, I'm supporting him. Everybody in Philadelphia was mad at me.
Yeah.
Okay. That's how hardcore. That's how I left Facebook. Because I would get to Facebook, you don't tell me happy holidays. I got back at people. I'm a Christian and I owe no apology. If you can't tell me Merry Christmas, don't tell me happy holiday. That's how terrible I was. Mm-hmm. Only Fox News and Newsmax I watched. Till I started to get my breaks. How did I start to get my break? When I started to see police killing of unarmed Black people. And I go to my Fox News channel and I see how the same story is being covered.
Yeah.
Then I started to watch TYT, the Young Turks. And I see how they cover it. And I'm like, oh, but I watched this thing. I saw the killing of Mike Brown. I saw the killing of Little Timai Rice. I saw the killing of Sandra Bland. I saw the killing of Walter Scott. I saw the killing of what's this other young man name? Then to Minneapolis, Philando Castillo. And then it came to Justin Rufcheck. And I saw the coverage and I'm like, okay, hold on, maybe I'm being brainwashed. Then COVID comes in. Then this police officer in uniform, this white dude has a store open and it was supposed to be closed. And the police went there to tell him, hey, you're supposed to be closed. And he got mad, got in his car and overran the police officer. The next day, he's on Sean Hannity. And Hannity is telling him he was right to do that. I'm like, oh, hold on. I thought we were supposed to be protecting the police. This dude overran a police officer and you say he was right to do that. And by the way, that police officer was Black. And the dude who did that, who weaponized a car for which other people got shot and killed, and Fox News said the police was justified, is now telling the white citizen that he was right to overrun a police officer.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh, okay, hold on. Maybe I'm being brainwashed. So then I started to watch ABC. I started to watch CNN that I hated. I started to
got even more brainwashed.
MSNBC. Then I'm like, oh no, I wasn't. Now I could see another side. You see, that's the problem we have. I'm an open-minded person. Since that time, if there's a story being reported, I want to see what everybody's saying about that story. And then I can make up my own independent decision instead of just taking it from one source. So that's why I'm like, oh, maybe I was being brainwashed. Then I started to see different things. Then I started to see that, okay, women come forward, they accuse Trump of sexual harassment. Oh, then it's a fake news. Oh, then I see that he floated a fake university, took money from people that court made him to pay back $25 million. Oh, it's fake news. Then I see, okay, everything that he ever did at a news report becomes fake news. But if another side did it, oh yeah, then I see that. I'm like, okay, I got to listen to every side of the story. Yeah. So it's all about our politics, you know. So we got to be careful where the news is coming from. So when they talk about DEI, I want to know who's reporting it. Yeah. You know, when a community college dropout can call Black women that graduated from Harvard that are lawyers on Supreme Court and say they don't have the brain power, and you drop out of community college, and I'm supposed to believe you that you qualify more than a Black woman that graduated from Harvard and serving on the Supreme Court, that Michelle Obama does not have brain power. Kamala Harris, she's an attorney general of a state, she's a state prosecutor, she's senator, she's vice president.
And she's committed more one-sided conviction.
I'm not trying to
against Black culture.
I'm not going into what she did. I'm looking at qualification. Yeah. So a lawyer, state prosecutor, attorney general,
just not a very good
senator,
communicator.
Vice president is not qualified.
Out of California, though.
Yeah, I don't care which state.
Well, they're appointed. They're not really voted.
I don't care about the state. I'm talking about qualification.
Right.
She went to school. She's a lawyer. She's a state prosecutor. She's an attorney general. She's a senator. She's a vice president. She's not qualified. But a reality TV host is qualified. That's a double standard. So then I have to make my own independent judgment because I'm been brainwashed. You can't tell me somebody who got all that qualification is not qualified, and the only appearance on the
do you think Kamala Harris is qualified to be president of the United States?
Huh?
Do you think Kamala Harris is qualified to be president of the
Do
United
you
States?
think Trump is qualified? Okay. We answer the question.
But he's my commander in chief, so
I don't care. You ask me a question. If
no,
I think
just
she's
say yes or
qualified.
no.
If with all her education you think she's not qualified, then Trump should not even.
Yeah.
go
So
close to
I
the
don't think
Oval
it. I think. See, now we're getting at this is like DEI and meritocracy again.
Yeah.
Right. Because America's a business.
Yeah.
So I think that part makes Trump qualified. I think if
and
Kamala,
she's not qualified.
well, no, I don't. I've never said she's not qualified to be where she's at per se. But I think if she got into international politics, if she was the president of the United States, these other, leaders of these other nations who maybe don't like women as much would eat her alive, and that would be bad.
Right.
That would be bad for America.
Let's go back to Fargo. I don't want to go.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. So, but my point that I wanted to make was like I came kind of down the same path you did, but we came from opposite directions.
Yeah.
Right. Like you came from being hardcore MAGA and saw that you were being tricked, so to speak, and now your opinion varied. I came from the other end and fell for MAGA and then realized I was tricked as well, right? So I think it's safe to say, yes, the middle ground is where we want to be.
That's where we want to be.
Right, that's where we want to be. We're being tricked by both sides of the line. I think that they're meeting behind the scenes and planning it out together and then dividing us. This is all meant to divide us.
We can agree on that.
Yeah,
we can agree on that,
100%.
John. I think let's get rid of this extremists in our politics. Let's come to the middle. I prefer us here. Let's say, hey, I understand. These guys, they don't care about us.
They don't.
Right.
100%.
They do it for themselves.
Right.
100%.
At the end of the day, they meet, they laugh, they have coffee together.
But just going back to the local
policy,
DEI policy, how would you implement that into Fargo?
Good. Okay, yeah, let's go back to it's good you brought me back. I think we diverted a little. When I'm elected mayor, I will want to do a review. Okay, I won't just get up and say, hey, bring back DEI, or no, don't bring back DEI. Let's bring back the review. Maybe we could reinvent DEI. Yeah. Maybe we could call it another name. Maybe we can say, okay, let's have some things here, there. Let's review it. Like I say, I love my decisions to be data-driven.
Right.
What worked, what didn't work. Why do we need DEI? Is it something we should have as a city? Can we do it in another way? Okay, let's look at the intentionality behind the creation of DEI in Fargo, and what can we do to reinvent that, to make it more acceptable, to make it more polished. I'm all for that. I'm not somebody who, I'm flexible. So I can be here and I can be there. I just want what works. Right. So if this works for Fargo, I'm all for it. If this doesn't work, if the residents say this doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't go for it. I'm flexible, and that's why the city should take the chance on me, because I'm a listener. I want to bring people together just as we're talking. That's how I want to do it. I want to respect your view. I first respect you as a person. And then when I respect you as a person, it gives me the opportunity to listen to you.
Right.
When I don't respect you as a person, I don't want to hear anything you got to say, and that's how we treat each other. We don't respect each other as people. He's not like me. She's not like me. Why should I care? No, we should care, because Fargo is bigger than you and me.
Right.
Fargo is Fargo, and we should all be working together to build a city that works for everybody, your children, my children. As long as Fargo remains our grandchildren, I want more people to come to Fargo. I want us to together build Fargo, the developers, the law enforcement officers, the mental health institutions, everything we can do, all hands on deck. That's the kind of leadership I want to bring to Fargo. This is the difference that set me apart from other people. I'm not going to City Hall with the attitude of I know it all. I have all the answers. No. We all know in parts. No one person has all the answer. And a politician who tells you, hey, and politicians always do that. Hey, I will do this. Elect me, I do this, I do that. I'm not a politician. I'm a public servant. As a public servant, my boss are the people. So it's not what I would do. And I ask people as I go to knock door, somebody come open up their door, I smile, they extend their hands, we shake hands, we introduce ourselves. And the next question I ask, what do you want? What do you want? Yeah. What do you want to see in Fargo after this election? And then we go into a conversation, and this gentleman told me, oh, my home been appraised 3 times, and this, that, and all these things is going through. Let's bring the housing authority. Let's bring the developers. Let's bring the realtors. Let's bring the landlord. Let's bring the tenants. Let's have a conference. Right. What can we do to deal with, to provide affordable housing in Fargo? I want to listen. I want to listen to everybody, and let's forget about this tribal thing. It doesn't help any of us. Right. The divide and the hatred and the vitriol is killing us. And I hate it. Yeah. It gives me sleepless night. When we post this recording finally, go under the comment and hear what some people will say. Yeah. And you're like, what is happening? It's democracy. Can we disagree to agree? Without being insultive, without being rude.
Well, so one of our friends is kind of a libtard, so
no, come on, man.
Not him.
Say something, man.
Not me.
I think he's enjoying it.
I am, and I'm listening. I'm soaking all the information in. I gotta make a vote on June 9th. Like I'm here, so I get front row seats.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So speaking of qualifications, then in regard to your candidacy. I mean, identifying. So there's a big difference between identifying problems, and running systems.
Yes.
So what makes you feel you're qualified, or what makes you have the confidence that you could run a city?
Oh, okay, that's an interesting question, John. I get that a lot because people hear you a pastor, so all the thing is the Bible, the Bible, the Bible.
Yeah. So and that would be one way to run a country. That's for sure.
That's what I told a group today. I said, hey, I want to be the pastor of Fargo.
Let's go.
Because as a pastor, what do? I take care of people. People going through real hardships, people with serious issues, real issues that need practical solutions. I listen to them. I counsel them. I bring them to a place where they make their own independent decision. And that's what we should be doing as a city. Listen to people first and make decision later. Sure. If we do that, we will be good leaders. Okay. And the problem with City Hall right now, they just tune deaf. So what's my qualification? I have a diploma, Associate of Arts and Bachelor in Theology and Psychology. I got that. I have a diploma in Electrical Technology from M State. Graduated top of the class. I have a degree in Operations Management from MSUM. Graduated summa cum laude. So I know how systems work too. I'm currently working on my master's at Harvard in Global Development Practice, Sustainable Development. So it's not all about preaching.
Sure. And you're definitely not a DEI hire then either.
I'm not a DEI.
You're qualified, it sounds like. Okay.
I'm qualified. You would say that. Yeah. So at least I know how things work too. And I've been in other places and I see how things work. I pay attention. I'm a meticulous person.
Yeah.
I don't just make fly-by-night decisions. I sit down, I listen, I evaluate, and then I come up with data-driven practical solutions. There are real people in Fargo that are having real problems that need practical solutions and not just political lip service, not just those rhetoric. And we need to pay attention to that. So when I hear people demonize homeless people, it breaks my heart because I'm like, 4 of us in this room, each of us, we are just one incident away from being homeless. It's sometimes it takes just one incident and people are homeless. So that, and I tell people, let's look at the causation to homelessness. Homelessness doesn't just happen. I know professional people in this city that are homeless. And guess what? We don't count all the homeless people. Anytime these people denigrate homeless people, the only people they count are the people at the engagement center. That's all they think about. But there are people homeless paying top dollars on hotels. They're in a hotel, they're homeless. Because a landlord put one record, something in their record. They got the money, nobody rents to them. There are homeless people that are living with families. They can't rent a home. There are people living with mental health. There are issues that happen. People lost their job. They skip one payment and they are out. There's so many things. And once you skip that one payment and the landlord quits you, they put that in your record. So now your problem, you begin to spiral. So that's what I want us to take that. I believe there should be accountability.
So you want to attack everything at the micro level and work our way outward.
Work our way outward. I believe we can work at some of these things in incremental steps. I believe there should be accountability. I don't think there should be freeloaders on the system. I think everybody should be working.
Absolutely.
Life happens.
Yes.
People fall on hard times. Let's give some people a break. But the only way we can do it, we have to combine these two words: accountability and compassion.
Yeah.
Accountability tells me, hey, buddy, you got to get off your butt, go do some work.
Right.
Compassion tells me, okay, life happens. Not everybody is
like that.
Not everybody is struggling. So let's mix those two, accountability and compassion. And you can't have compassion on people if you don't first see them as human beings. The people who denigrate homelessness, they see these people as objects. They don't see them as human beings. Once you start to see people as humans, compassion will kick in, and you want to do everything to help them. Some of these people are cousins. Some are family members. We can't just look at them as they are nothing. If we don't help them, we're creating another issue.
So what is the solution? Because we talked about this with the other two candidates.
Okay.
We talked about mainly just downtown Fargo, with there being a lot of homeless people downtown Fargo. And I explained that every time I go through downtown, not really something that I want to take my kids to, just because of some of the people that are down there. Nothing against them, but I even said my wife worked at Fargo Forum 10 years ago, and she said she was scared to walk to her car at night. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, and going off of what you said with compassion, and I'm not saying like we got to like kick them out of Fargo or anything like that, but how do we handle that problem?
I think we can take those things on case by case basis. We can sift people through, the process. Let's find out why is this person, the causation. That's what I'm saying. The first step is the root cause. That's why when you get sick, you don't walk up to Sanford or Essentia as you just walk in and start to prescribe for you. No, the first thing they do is diagnostics. They want to know the root cause, what you have it. You can't just take your car to the shop and people start to do things. No, they put it through diagnostics. They're trying to trace the cause. So as a city, we have to find the cause. And we can do that on an individual basis. If this person is just on drugs, he's been lazy, we put them in another category. If this person, like my friends that I know, they're nurses, they make tons of money, and nobody could rent to them. They got, I think, 5 or 6 children, and they were going from hotel to hotel. And they got little children, toddlers. So children will run around. So they stay in this hotel. After 4 days, they kick them out. They go to, and I used to visit them in those hotels because they got, children will run, children will play. But another guest is tired. And if they're on top of you, they're banging the floor, guests get angry, they kick them out. Okay, you can't bundle everybody in one basket. So we can do a case-by-case basis. And why did they get into that problem? Because when they were leaving Jamestown, they got an opportunity to move to Fargo. And they talked to their landlord, hey, we know we just signed this contract, but we got this opportunity, we're moving to Fargo. The landlord said, oh, that's no problem. I would just find somebody else to rent to them. And they thought they were good. Only to move to Fargo, the landlord put something in their record. And so they just been from one place to another with friends, hotels, and nobody will rent to them. We can bundle everybody together. Let's do it case by case, evaluate the situation, and then we know how to help people based on their specific needs. I think we can, some people have mental health. Okay, they need help. Okay, send them to some institution where they can get the help. Those that are on drugs, see how we can try to detox them, whatever we can do. If they're not willing to go through the process, okay, then we can take some other steps to take care of them in other ways. But to just look at everybody and just denigrate them is not right. So I think those are some of the things we can do. Let's evaluate the situation. Let's put people in categories based on their specific needs. And then let's find the help, the professional help, to work with these people and transition them. Like my church, another way we try to do to help homelessness, our church, our approach is what we call the bridge house. And we've been trying to look for partners to support us. We want to get homes, okay? We want to buy at least 2 homes or get 2 homes rented, and they are called the bridge house. That's our church program. So when people get kicked out of their apartment for whatever reason, with families, we tell them, okay, this is a home. It's a bridge home. You'll stay here for 3 months. You're not paying rent. You're not doing anything until you can get back on your feet. And then you move and another person comes in. We make sure we provide you food. You're not paying rent, no utility. Everything's on the church. That's the way. So we can find nonprofit organizations and other people and then work with them to get onto their feet. Get on their feet. I mean, I had a family here now. They're doing marvelously well. When they were moving here from Minneapolis, they attempted so many times. Nobody will rent to them. So they will go back. Because in Minneapolis, they got evicted. So that went in their record. And I think they were owing like $5,000 or $7,000, right? So nobody will rent. So that followed them to Fargo. So they tried several times. Somebody, her cousin, met my wife and me and said, hey, this is my cousin. She's been trying to move. And she had 1, 2, 3, 4 children plus her husband. They can't go anywhere. We were just about moving from our apartment to our townhome. We had to help them. So what did I do? I said, okay, take over our townhome. Take over our apartment. So we put them there. We pay the rent. They pay through us because nobody will rent to them. Then I sat with them. I said, when you file your tax, whatever happens, go pay off whatever you owe on this. I want that record to be expunged. And we work with them gradually. They pay off that debt. The record was expunged. They got their own apartment from there. They got their townhome. Today, they got a nice place that they live. These things are processed. But if you just denigrate everybody, anybody homeless, that's a problem.
Yeah.
There are things we can do to help people.
It's such a large scale task to do it incrementally, like you're saying. So that would be a huge undertaking on the city. Probably costs tons of tax dollars to pull off.
You can work with nonprofits.
I suppose, yeah.
Work with there are so many nonprofits. Like I told you, our church, we're looking for opportunity to get a bridge house.
Yeah.
And that could be a relief on the city. So that person doesn't have to go through that system because a church is doing something. Church United, so many other people are there that can help. So all the city needs to do, bring all these nonprofits to the table.
Right.
And we can have a discussion on how we can do things. The problem is people are just too deaf because once they hear homeless, these people are on drugs. And that's why we're not providing the help.
How do you feel about two parts? A, what's your relationship with local police department? And how do you feel about the crime in the city right now?
You know, the current police chief said crime was down 10%. Here is my thing. When I think public safety, my first reaction is not police in the streets. Public safety should begin with crime prevention and not just fighting crime. We can first prevent crime, and we can do this in different ways. I was saying, I think it's Jay Thomas' show that somehow we kind of feel like good dudes come from a family and criminals fall from the sky. No, it's not true. Good people come from a family. Criminals also come from a family. The difference is good people come from good families sometimes. Criminals come from broken family. It's broken family that produces criminal. So we have to be able to build a strong city. It begins with building strong families.
Right.
Strong families will build strong communities. Strong communities will build a strong city. So we got to start with a family where mom and dad are working 2-3 jobs to keep the lights on, to keep the bills paid. Who taking care of the kids at home? Those 12 to 16, 17 years old kids. The internet is what's taking care of them. They're already messing up with their mind. Yeah. That is a problem. Downtown is the only part of Fargo that has foot traffic. South Fargo, you can see people walking in the street. You know, so it's easy to detect something going on in downtown that South Fargo, because it's harder.
Yeah.
So we need to build our city in a way that people are walking most of the time. So people are observing their community. They know exactly what's happening. Another thing we can do, let's go back to the days of community policing. I want police officers, the community, the police, get to know people by name. Let people know the police officers by name. You see, what's happening right now, people run from the police. Police cannot effectively do their work without the community input. You need community. I was at the forum today and they were telling me, oh, a gentleman came and just pee on their building. I said, did you get him? No, he got away. She didn't call. But if that 911 call is placed and you give the exact description, before PD gets there, that person would have moved on. But PD can interview other passersby and they can give you exact information on which way this person's going. If the community is running from the police, that's not good policing. I want a city in Fargo where the community can run to the police. And we can only achieve that through community policing. So when I was asked, what about this new police chief? I said, only 3 things I'm concerned about. I don't care who occupies the office. If they can do these 3 things, they got my vote. Number 1, bring about professionalism in the Fargo PD. Number 2, support fellow police officers. Number 3, build trust with the community. That's what I want. Let the community trust the PD, that they can come to the PD. It would be good to know your police officer by name. It would be good that your police officer can walk their beat and call people from the distance. Hey, Bob, how's it going? You know that's community policing. But this us versus them, it can be harder to fight crime. Like me, I've had some run-ins with the police, right? I've been pulled over, and people say, oh, nobody respects the police. Respect is not given. Respect is earned. Respect is reciprocal. If you give it, you get it. People, you earn it. They don't give it to you. So this dude pulls me over. He comes there, and I'm very nice to him. Hey, how are you, officer? How's your day going? Do you think he returned my greeting? Nope.
But do you think that's all cops or just the one you met?
Well, that's the one who pulled me over.
Right.
Every cop.
But I mean, it's like that argument gets made the same way too with race.
Let me finish this story.
Yeah.
How are you, officer? How you doing today? Okay, Never return my greetings. All he cares about who owns the car because I'm driving a Mercedes. That was disrespectful. Get to know me first. At the end of the day, you will still ask me for my registration and driver license and whatever. Right?
I've gotten pulled over and that same thing happened in all fairness.
How do I greet you as an officer and the only thing you care about who owns the car? That was denigrating.
I think that's a pretty standard question, though, don't you think?
No, it's not a standard question.
When they walk
who
up to
owns
the
this car?
No,
Are you the owner of this car?
No, that's not a standard
get asked
question.
that too.
You don't need to. A police officer doesn't need
But
to.
I get asked that too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but when you pull somebody over,
Yeah.
how are you, sir?
Are you the owner of this car?
How are you?
They
sir?
want to
What
know
are you?
if you're the owner as the driver.
That question should come after you've requested the insurance, the proof of ownership, and all of that. If the person gives them to you, and you took their driver's license and the name on the driver's license not on any of those papers, then you can ask the person who owns the car, because that is appropriate. Because you give me your driver's license, you give me your insurance, you give me your registration, and your name on the driver's license is not on any of these papers.
Sure. Yeah.
Then I move to ask you who owns the car. That cannot be the first question. That you approach the person, they say, how are you, officer? How you doing? And you did not return the greeting. All you care about who owns the car. That's insulting. You don't do that.
And this happened here?
Right here. Multiple times.
How long ago?
A few years ago. And I work at Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I was doing commercial aviation at UND, and I was still in Fargo. So I was driving, coming back. I work security at Blue Cross, and I'm in full uniform, badge and all. So I was rushing to relief because I had an exam that slowed me down in Grand Forks. So I was just rushing to relieve my, fellow officer. And I was like, hey, I'm sorry I was speeding because I'm in full uniform. At least that should count for something. And then I greet you because I drive a Mercedes. You don't care about my greetings. You just want to know who owns the car.
Can I ask you how fast you were going?
Oh, I don't remember, but I was speeding.
So
because I was
going
really
like 90
late.
out of 25.
I was late. So that forced me, I was forced to get an apartment in Grand Forks. So now I stayed there all week for school, and then I came back, weekends. But what we're trying to say, community policing, see people as people first. See people as human beings, And you watch other tips. I've been in car with white dudes, right? And we get pulled over. And the police officer the driver is white. Hey, how are you guys? What are you guys doing? Do you know why I pull you over this? And the conversation is cordial. But when it's me alone, the conversation is different.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
We know a guy that he works patrol for highway patrol. Black guy. He specifically told me, because I've asked him a ton of questions about how he reacts when he pulls people over.
Yeah.
He even said himself that when he pulls somebody over, that is a black guy.
Yeah.
He is more cautious when he approaches the door.
Yep.
Right?
Stereotype.
Or consensus.
Yep.
I stereotype everybody in all fairness. So
yeah.
I
think stereotypes exist though, because that's what we do to police officers now. We stereotype all cops to being racist and having the wrong demeanor.
Because you see, in Fargo, the female officers are more professional than the male officers. I've been pulled over by female officers. I just bought this car, Jeep Renegade 2021. I still had a dealer tag on it.
Yeah.
And all my other cars, the lights are all auto. This Jeep Renegade is manual. So I came from a church service that evening with my wife. I forgot to turn the light on. And right by 25th and 13, 2 female cops pulled me over. They were the nicest police officers I've ever met.
Yeah.
And she came to the car. How are you, sir? How are you? What's wrong with your light? We pull you over because your light is not on. I'm like, And then she was like, did you buy the car new? I said, yes. I'm still trying to get used to it. It's manual. I just forgot to turn it on. And she was the most pleasant police officer I've ever encountered. And she talked to me and said, yeah, it's happened to a lot of people. I just saw the dealer tag. I said, I just got it. I think it was like 3 or 4 days ago. So I told her I was sorry. It was not intentional. And we talked and she let me go. If it were a dude, I know how the interaction would have gone. Because it's this, us versus them. And that mentality is not community policing. We were going to Minneapolis one day for a funeral. One of our pastors in Fargo lost his wife to cancer. And the funeral was that Saturday, and I had to pick up other pastors. I was driving, 3 in the back, 1 in the front, so we were like 5. Everybody strapped in, and we were driving. We were late for the funeral. Again, I was rushing. The state trooper pulled us over. He came to the car. How are you, gentlemen? You know how fast you are going? I told him yes. He looked in the car. He was like, oh, wow, thank you. She thanked us. He said, I see all of you have your seatbelt on. That's responsible. And then he was like, but hey, you want to slow down. You don't want 2 funerals. I said, yeah. So we told him where we were going. He said, yeah, I understand that. I'm not going to give you a ticket. I will give you warning. Just slow down because I want you to reach safe. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't I respect such a police officer?
What are you asking?
Why wouldn't I respect such officer? I have respect for him from that day. I have respect. People want to respect the police. Yeah. But when the police are looking down on the community, the police, some respect is reciprocal. It's called giggle in computer. Garbage in, garbage out.
How many Fargo PD officers are there?
No, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you. I don't know.
There's probably, 200-300?
But I know that they're on their hand. They shut staff.
So do you support increasing police funding?
Of course, yes. Yeah. Because, listen, I'm pro-police. I want police officers to have everything they need to do their job. And I even think the police officers have been overtaxed. We need to reduce their job. We need to create other departments within PD that can respond to certain things. Like somebody call, hey, my car is stopped on the road. I don't know if it is battery or I'm out of gas. We should have somebody to send for that. Not somebody who should be looking out for crimes. There should be other departments of lower responsibilities that can respond to those kind of things. When we receive the 911 call, hey, 911, what is your emergency? Oh, I'm right at the corner of 3rd 13 at university. My car just stopped in the middle of the road. I don't know what happened. We should just know the department of car to go do that. Somebody's out of gas. You're taking a police officer that should be doing fighting crime, and he's going to bring gas to put gas in somebody's car. I think that is demeaning. We can relieve them of some of those. I've seen police officers on tape giving birth, serving as midwives. I've seen police officers changing tires. I mean, I want Fargo PD to be distinguished. I want Fargo PD to pay attention to the main thing. Let's create other departments, somebody with mental health episode. Let's have other people that can respond to some of those things. We don't need always gun and bash blazing, so that let the police officer go after hard crimes or other things, that need that, and let other soft issues be handled by other departments. That's what I'm saying. And when I'm mayor, I will make sure the Fargo PD has everything they need to do their job. I will make sure Fargo PD is so respected that we become a model city in the United States, because we will reimagine policing. We want our police officers to be professional. Let them do the right thing. Let them build trust with the community. Let the community be happy. Oh, that's my PD officer. That's Corey over there. He's talking with his buddy and sees the guy from the distance. Let him tell his buddy, oh, I know, that's Corey over there. He's a very nice dude. Those are the things we want to hear. That's how we should reimagine policing. I don't think that should be hard. And I don't think it's something nobody will want to get behind. I love the PD. I was about to join the police force, but that didn't work. Long time ago, in Liberia. So I love the PD. I have police officers in my family, and I want to support them. I want them to have everything they need, all the tools, everything they need, but I don't want them to overwork themselves. I want them to offload some of those low-level emergency calls, non-emergency calls. Let some other people deal with it.
The engagement center downtown, what's your opinion on that?
The engagement center, that has been an issue. Everybody is fixated on that.
Are you for or against it?
Okay, I'm for it in the sense that whatever they're doing to help, but I might be against the location. So if it can be relocated successfully and the program is not changed, and we're still doing the program, because I think too many things are happening downtown. That's why downtown has become the epic center. Every focus is on downtown.
Yeah, I agree.
Nobody talks about the rest of the city.
Right.
South Fargo, nobody cares about that. Everybody is downtown. So we need to remove some things from downtown, like the engagement center, because it's just clustered. So maybe if we can put it in a place where they have space that can be properly monitored, I'm all for that. Again, like I said, when I'm mayor, I want to get in there and review these things. Let's do a proper review. Let's see what's working. Let's be intentional about the things that we do. Let's be focused. Let's be data-driven about these things we do.
I think that's a good idea because, like you said, if you're wanting to actually help people, I don't think that constantly providing them clean needles is helping them unless you're getting them into rehab.
If there's a program, yes, to turn things around.
But just constantly handing out free needles on the taxpayer dime,
it's enabling.
You're just enabling more and more for them to come back.
Equally, too, I don't believe any business should be closed down because of VIP, flavored nicotine. I don't believe that also businesses should be closed down.
I agree with that to the extent of Big League Chew. We should not be banning Big League bubblegum over the fact that it's a flavored tobacco product by the books.
It's foolishness. Okay, what's the violation? What's the penalty for underage people being possessed?
Well, I just think it's weird that we'll take something like, for example, Big League Chew away because it falls into the category of tobacco-esque products and it's flavored, right?
Stupid.
But we'll provide needles and boofing kits to drug addicts. You know what I mean? But let's not give flavored bubblegum that looks like, chewing tobacco to anybody because we don't want to enable them or encourage them the wrong direction. But we'll hand out needles to junkies.
When I would pack my mouth full of that stuff.
Yeah, you were the coolest dude.
The last thing I was thinking about, I wish this was actual tobacco leaves.
Is that a true confession? Okay.
Stupid.
So here's the thing, the way I look at things, like I said, I'm a thorough person. I don't just make decisions. Let's evaluate things and see what's working. What is the benefit for the greater good? is, does this thing benefit the greater population? Then I might not like it, but if it's providing benefits for the greater population, then maybe it's something we might do. And that's why I was so upset. I was in City Hall when they proposed that idea of closing down any business that sells flavored nicotine, because we're always in a hurry.
Who proposed that?
The Department of Health. I thought it was just it was not properly thought out, because if you think, I want to protect children. I run a daycare center. My wife and I, we have a business. We run a daycare center, right? I love kids. I want to protect those little angels.
Absolutely.
So definitely I do want them to be exposed to anything hazardous. At the same time, I don't want to violate other people's rights.
Exactly.
Because adults now will be punished for not getting what they're supposed to have because somebody violated. The punishment for violating the flavored nicotine ban? $25. So if a parent bought it for their underage child and they are caught it's $25. That's not penalty. Put at least $500 fine on that, and then people would think twice, right? But if you close down those businesses, you hurt in Fargo.
Yeah.
Because those business owners depend on those businesses to take care of their family.
Right.
They also employ other people too that are taking care of their
Also,
family.
we don't want to touch alcohol.
Yes. No, I'm coming to it.
Yeah.
So then you close down those businesses, you've not solved the problem. Because it's only in Fargo you're closing down those businesses. Somebody will just drive to West Fargo, to Mohead, and they will buy it. Or they sit in their phone and on their home, they will order it online and they will ship to their house. Mm-hmm. You've not solved the problem, but you've punished Fargo businesses. You've removed money from the city. So that's what I keep saying. City Hall should not be in a hurry. Sit down, listen. First of all, the Department of Health should call these business owners and had a meeting with them. This is what we're looking at. This is the data. We think young people have been exposed to this. What can we do? Those businesses would have helped you and say, okay, we will make sure we have thorough investigation in place. Anybody who comes in store will inspect ID. We will make sure we do X, Y, Z. Come out with some policies, to protect the young people and the businesses. But you just come up with decision, let's ban any business. That decision was not properly thought.
Yeah, especially when they do like the alcohol tests and stuff like that around businesses, and they go every quarter it seems like, and they test all these businesses to see if they'll give out drinks to minors.
Yes.
Or minors. They should be doing that at gas stations with cigarettes and stuff like that.
Everything.
That's
you can't
100%.
do one. Yeah, that's selective. Selective. I don't know how to call it. Selective outrage.
Discipline.
Selective discipline. Let's be fair. If you want to do it for one, do it for all. But you can just target certain people. These are taxpayers. These are people just trying to take care of their family. And I tell every business owner out there who sells flavored nicotine, vote for Sekou. I will protect your business. No business will be closed in Fargo because you sold flavored nicotine. It's wrong, and nobody should do that. I know they just had a meeting.
Tobacco is staying in Fargo.
Yeah. You close down alcohol shops and tobacco shops too. Right. I mean, what are we talking?
Yeah.
So we'll jump into a little rapid fire, something we've done at the end of each of these as well. Before we get there, though, one final question that's on the list is, do you believe in white privilege?
It's hypothetical. I believe in equality for everybody. We are all God's children. Mm-hmm. And just like you say, you believe in meritocracy. I believe in meritocracy. I believe everybody that is qualified should be given an opportunity. Okay, and we know how the system was built. There are there are elephants in the room we don't want to address. And we try to pretend, this is not happening. But actually they happen. There have been several studies, right? They've done here in America, in Canada, other places. I watched so many documentaries where they wanted to test whether there was white privilege or not. And maybe we should try in Fargo. So they got 3 dudes. 1 black, 1 white, 1 brown. And they send them out to do apartment hunt. And the black guy goes there and they just turn him down. Several places. No, we don't know availability. The brown dude goes there. They said there's availability, but with conditions. And then he leaves. They didn't know. Those business owners don't know. Yeah. They're on camera. And then the white dude goes saying, oh, yeah, and there's availability, no conditions. How do you describe that? You see, there are some unconscious bias. We got to face it. If we want to make society better, denial is not the approach. Accountability is the approach. Okay? Let us say, okay, we know there are some things that are going on. How do we control it? I believe in the equality of everybody. I don't see anybody less than. I don't see anybody as don't belong. I see we are all human beings.
Right.
All of us here, you cut us, it's the same blood, man. We all
Doesn't accountability kind of fall into the same category of accepting that you might be part of a systemic issue in society as your culture goes or your skin color goes? Isn't that also like accountability? I take an issue as somebody who's a minority. I take a really big issue on us thinking, you know what, to offset people looking at us as minorities and that we're all bad people, we should point out how all the white people are bad. Yeah, I think that's such a double negative.
Yeah, but let's be honest with this. I've done lots of research and I can send you some at different universities. And let's be factual. I mean, I'm not a fearful person. I speak my mind. Mm-hmm. So if you ask me some questions, somebody might try to dance around it. I don't do that garbage. I tell you exactly as it is. There's nothing anybody can do to me. Mm-hmm. Okay? In this country, the statistics shows white people do more drugs than black people. But black people are overly arrested for drugs than white people.
Do you think it's because they draw more attention to themselves?
Because they
coincidentally
are not being policed. They just pass a black person. How many times a black person will get stopped before a white person will get stopped? So those are their unequal proportion in policing. Okay, so the statistics shows that more white people commit crimes too than black people, and those are facts. We can't call them fake news. Those are facts. Go there, just Google. Different universities got different studies out there. And they
talk about nonviolent crime.
Yeah, crime in whatever way, But
black people consist of 13% of population, but commit 50% of the violent crimes.
Yes, but then let's look at the historicity. If we want to solve problems, I keep talking about causation. How was this country started? When poor whites came from Europe, this country gave them lands, gave them everything they needed to start them off. They told their black citizens, pull yourself up by your bootstrap. So the black people had to do it for themselves. Nobody helped anybody in this country. Since Trump 2.0 came in, you know how many black people have been fired? The federal government is the largest employer of black people in this country. Since Trump came back in less than 2 years, in the first 6 months, you know how many people got fired? More than 300,000 black people got fired from federal government. Let's follow the facts. I'm not a race baiter. I love everybody as a preacher. All that I'm saying, let's live together. Let everybody have equal opportunity. If you and me go for a job interview, let them go by our resume. We could have the same resume, but you could do better on the interview than me. Okay? Then I know, okay, he got it.
How do you discern that? As let's just say as an employer, someone who wants to do right by the DEI statistics and all that stuff, how do you discern that person made the right judgment call on who interviewed better if they had the same qualifications?
If they had the same, it depends on whoever HR interviewing them. I believe there are some people that are good at speaking, others are good at writing. Other people could write better, but they said in the interview they get so timid.
Yeah.
They don't know how to talk. They can't express themselves. Mm-hmm. So it looks like this person is not qualified. And then, he leaves. The other person who's street smart can talk. You can tell them one thing, they can explain it in 10 other ways. Oh, no, this guy is better, right? All we say, let's just be equal opportunity employers. Let's give everybody opportunity. If there's a job, let everybody come in, interview, take the best candidates. I believe in that. I believe in the autonomy, the freedom of entities. You got your establishment. You got the right who you want to employ. 10 people can come here. You say, hey, I got one slot I want to fill. And 10, 15 people come. You got to take one person. So it depends on your judgment. But if at the end of the day, you end up hiring 15 people, and all the 15 people are just from one category, you might not be doing something wrong, but perception. It's the same thing with crime. Even though the statistics show crime is going down, but public perception said, no, nothing's been done about crime. You could be making the right decision, but public perception will be like, how he filled 15 vacancies and all is one group. So people look, you better have done the right thing, and then there should be communication. If we can communicate some of these things, I think most times people just go by assumptions because when there's a communication vacuum, you increase the assumption of people.
Right.
And that's why I told when I was interviewing for the position of Human Rights Commissioner at City Hall, Denise Kopak interviewed me. And that's one of the things I said. I said, one thing I hope to bring to this position is that government doesn't know how to communicate. I hope the HRC can be the communicator for the city to explain some of these things, break them down. Because people in the community, they just perceive that, maybe things are like this. It might not be like that, but people are not breaking things down. So you leave people to assumption, even husband and wife. When I was coming here, I called my wife. Hey, I'm leaving the other meeting. I'm going to the red tip. Okay. Oh, she said there was an email that came in later. I said, hey, you know what? I didn't check it. I know we start 7. Can you be checking that email to see if they changed it or it was just a reminder? So I'm driving. I said, I'm 1 minute away. Try to check that. So she knows exactly where I'm at.
Yeah.
Okay. She knows where I'm at. There's no question. I got this program I downloaded on both of our phones, Live 360. My wife knows exactly where I'm at. If I forgot to call her, Live 360 would tell her, hey, I'm leaving here now. I'm driving this way. I'm here. Yeah. It's called communication. Yeah. Okay, so we want that. I don't feel policed. I think that's what should happen. It's the same thing when my wife leaving work, the first thing she does, she calls me. And she will slow down at the store. She tells me, I don't have to assume because I have all the facts. But imagine if there's no communication. The other person start to assume, where's John now? He should have been home by now. Why is he home by this time? Yeah. From his job to this place should be 7 minutes. Why he's taking extra 45 minutes? Because
I don't like being policed like that, though.
Yeah. That's how people assume things. Yeah. And when couples don't handle that assumption, then the relationship fall apart. And that's what's happening with City Hall and the residents.
Awesome.
We need to communicate.
I got one still.
Go for it.
Give me that rapid fire.
I got one more regular question. So
okay.
We've talked a lot about obviously what we can do for the community and how we're going to make Fargo better. But as someone who lives in Fargo and owns a home and I'm having a family, starting a family in the next few months, we'll have our first child. I've got a wife.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Boy, girl?
It's a boy. It's a boy. Yeah. So August, I'll be a dad finally. So it's pretty exciting. So definitely look forward to it. I got lots of nephews and nieces though that have prepared me for it, and lots of family that are close by. So, but overall, what people want to know and what we definitely got out of the other candidates is how are you going to put money back in our pockets? Obviously, that's what we want to know. How are we going to save ourselves some money? Obviously, the taxes are. Our property tax especially are going up higher and higher and higher. Yeah. What are you going to be able to do to save us some money?
That's an interesting question. It's a big one. There are so many things in place. The city's budget is always in default, and then we have this huge debt over us as an albatross around our necks. Mm-hmm. We have to, when I get there, I want to study the tax code. I want to study the tax incentives. I want to study everything because I don't have all the facts. I know there was this 3% cap property tax that, the state was trying to impose, which in some way will affect Fargo's own development in some areas. So I want to study all of those things. Fargo residents have been squeezed. If we study these things, and we see what we can do to alleviate the burden. Like property owners, the next thing you think about is the specials. It's something people have issues with. Mm-hmm. So what can we do? There's no hard or facts rule around this because the specials right now is generating some income that are helping with infrastructure. If we completely remove it, where will we get that money from to replace whatever's coming in from specials? So that's another issue. The 1% sales tax has been in place since 2006. It was instituted after the 1997 flood, right? So we brought that, and that 1% sales tax has been bringing, I think, $34 to $40 million. If we don't vote to extend it, where would the city's budget that's already in default, where will we get that $40 million from? So there are so many things surrounding these things. So I want us to review and find the best way forward so that we don't put another burden on our people. I'm not saying, hey, once I get to City Hall, we'll increase tax or we'll cut taxes. No, we want to see what works. In a way, it has to be honest, it has to be transparent, and it has to be for the greater good of the resident like you. Okay, so what can we do to alleviate that pain? Can we meet in the middle? And that's why I say it's not that question. One person cannot find the answer to that. All of us need to come to the table, bring the developers what's causing the housing price to go up, because the final price of a house is determined by so many things. You know, builders, developers don't like uncertainties. So when we create all these uncertainties, when we delay permit, when we want to review the tax code, the zoning codes, and all of these things, whatever is built into the final price of a home, we can all sit down. The developer should be there, the realtor should be there, the homeowner should be there. We all sit down and have a conversation and pinpoint where we can minimize some of these things, how we can come to the middle ground. That Fargo taxpayer can say, okay, yeah, we don't mind paying this amount while we can get some relief on this back end. It will be better for everybody. You know, but all I'm saying, let the residents, let the citizen have a say in what happens instead of just people sit down and say, oh, and say, this is what we're going to do. And you don't have a choice. One thing I will say, though, I plead with everybody for that ballot measure on extending the 1% sales tax. I think we should keep it in place. The reason is it doesn't add any new tax to you. It's something that has been in place since 2006. If we don't vote, because people are not getting the right information, if we don't vote to extend it and it sunsets, we have to find out $40 million from somewhere else. And then here comes the city again, okay, but then we have to tax you. Residents don't like that. You know, you're already burdened with so many things. I want to help homeowners. The specials is something that gives me sleepless nights too. I think homeowners need to get some relief. If we don't end the specials because it's also helping, at least we can meet in the middle and say, okay, let's do give and take. I think the residents will understand that and say, okay, I'm a resident here too, because we got to build, we got infrastructure, we got aging infrastructure that we got to repair, we got schools, we got other things to do. So that money comes in handy too, but I don't mind giving little if I can get some relief here. You know, so we just got to be fair and honest and transparent with what we are doing. And, you know, I think everybody will, let's come together. That's what I mean. If we can talk together, we can find solutions.
Absolutely.
Together.
I like that. I like that for the most part, you wanted everything to be data driven. Yes. You want to walk the middle of the road and be actually bipartisan. I think that's important for the city. I think it's important that people identify that in you as a candidate. You
look
so
much like Gary Owens. You know Gary Owens, the comedian? Am I lying? No, tell me the truth, John. Am I lying?
Gary's there.
Is he funny?
Yeah, he's very funny. Gary,
I think he was just
every
here
time
too.
I look at you, I'm like,
he does like the black culture comedy stuff, man. He's
funny.
freaking hilarious.
Funny. Guy, you look just like Gary Owens. I'm telling you.
You do. You
see that?
A little bit of it.
Every time I see, I'm like, is this Gary Owens in Fargo?
Yeah, definitely.
You see yourself, right?
That's hilarious. All right, let's jump into some rapid fire before we end this here. I'm gonna fire off questions.
Right.
You just give me the shortest,
yes or no,
one word,
whatever.
yes or no answers, and then at the end you can explain any one of these you want to elaborate on. All right. All right. So let's go first. Fargo, safer or less safe?
Safer.
Okay. More cops or more social workers?
Both.
Flock cameras, yes or no? Yes
with restriction. No if there's no restriction.
Okay. Biggest issue that Fargo's ignoring right now.
Listening to the people.
Most overrated city project.
Oh, definitely the convention center.
Okay. Most underrated part of Fargo.
South Fargo. Everything is about North Fargo, downtown.
Should Fargo get tougher on crime?
Yes, 100%.
One thing conservatives get right.
Personal responsibility, even though they don't really do it, but personal responsibility.
Okay. One thing progressives get wrong.
One thing progressives get wrong. Too much liberalism.
Okay. Is downtown improving or declining?
It depends on who you talk to.
Okay.
Yes.
What's more dangerous, corruption or incompetence?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Yes.
Does Fargo have a drug problem?
According to the data, yes.
Okay. Should taxpayers fund failed programs indefinitely?
Definitely no. I'm not going to treat our residents like that.
Most unfair criticism about you?
That I'm a communist.
Okay. I don't think I've heard that one.
Controversial because I call out the city leadership. And so Jim Thomas will say, you controversial. What makes me controversial?
All right.
Just call out people.
The opposite of that. What's the most fair criticism about you?
I'm not really that I'm bold.
Okay.
That's fair. I'm bold.
All right.
I speak my mind.
And then what is the first thing you immediately change as mayor that's burning in you right now?
The city commission.
The city commission.
We have to transition the city from a city commission to a city council.
Okay.
There's one thing I want to work on first, and I hope we all can sign up on the petition for the city. You know, when Fargo, you still got more rapid fire?
One more.
Okay,
when you're ready.
No.
Okay.
I can explain this later.
Why should someone who disagrees with you still trust you to be Fargo mayor?
My track record.
Okay.
My track record. I have proven impeccable integrity. And the reason is you trust me, and like I tell everybody, every other person in the race, they got nothing to lose. I got everything to prove. You know, when I become mayor, they will hold me to the highest standard because Fargo has never had a mayor like me before. Everything I do will be under the microscope. And that's what we should do for all our leaders. And that's why it makes me the best candidate, because you want somebody you can hold accountable. And I will beg you to hold me accountable. You know what that will help me do? It makes me to think better, think smarter, think faster, because I know anything I say will be judged. Yeah. Anything I do will be scrutinized. Anything I say will be criticized. So then it will help me to be careful on what I do. That's why I think I'm the better candidate. So let's go back to transitioning the city. When Fargo was 10,000 residents, the city commission was good. Mm-hmm. They are all, the 5 commissioners, including the mayor, they are all elected at large. That means all of us in this room can be elected to the city council. It doesn't matter our zip code. We are 141,000 residents now. Okay. And I believe in representative government. There are 11 districts in Fargo. I believe every district should be represented. Somebody say, oh, we produce unhealthy competition. Yeah, but competition is the mother of invention. So we can improve when all the districts are competing with each other, but every district should have a voice on the city council, and we should have a seat for young people on our city council so that they be part of the process, because we just leave them out, and that hurts me. Young people should be part of the process. You know why? Everybody's 60 years and older. How do you think they see the world? Mm-hmm. Give me one word guess. All these people see the world in reverse. Anybody who has reached 60 and older, when they look at the world, they always look backwards. They look in reverse. How things were back then. How good it was.
Back in my days.
Back in my days, Those were good days. I'm not going to, downplay that, but we're not there anymore.
Yeah.
We are here looking in the future. Only young people look at the future, look at life in the future.
Right.
Because that's the only place they go, and they got nothing back there to go to. So that label of young and dumb, I hate that. I'm not saying young people don't do dumb things at times, but they're not dumb. They're smart. They're intelligent. They got a passion. They are more internet savvy. what it would take 60 years old people running our city right now and above, 2-3 weeks to figure out. Those young people can figure it out in 3 hours, So let's bring them to the table. Let's start to prepare them. And when I become mayor, one other thing I would do, I want to send a bill to legislature. I think it's a corruption, because you talk about corruption and incompetence. It's a corruption for somebody to hold one elected office and run for another elected office. That's corruption. Corruption has many faces. And I love Josh. I'm not trying to, denigrate him, but he's a current sitting state senator. He has 2 more years on his term. His term expires in 2028. He's holding to that job and still running for mayor. Somebody else could have taken that spot. So if you hold one elected position and you want to run for another one, you should be forced to resign that one. Let somebody else take up that spot.
Agreed.
You can't occupy 2 spots.
I like that.
Michelle Turnberg, the same thing. She's in the middle of her term. Whether she wins this race or not, she still goes back to the city commission.
Yeah.
If you say, I want to run for city mayor, then resign that position. Let somebody else take that up. That's corruption. You can't block her 2 spots. 2022, Shannon did that. She was state rep, and she was running for mayor. And the interviewer, go watch that interview. Said, but you're currently a state rep and you're running for mayor. She said she could do the 2 jobs from Bismarck and Fargo. That's corruption. That's greed. Resign one position and run for the other. That will convince me you really mean business. Mm-hmm. But you can't hold, because you got nothing to lose. Whether I lose here, I just go back to the other one. I think that's corruption. We got to end that.
I like that.
Yep.
Awesome. This has been a great interview. I think we got a lot of information out on you. I learned a lot of things that I didn't know or understand. And intentionally, I didn't research too far ahead of, we wanted this to be as real and raw as possible. Yeah.
Good, yeah.
I love your answer at the end about why people should trust you, whether they agree with you or not.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't get a vote in Fargo.
You in Moorhead?
I'm in Moorhead, yeah.
Oh,
we did. I know. I want out.
My vote.
Man, I want out.
He's in all that work. I'm the only
But listen,
one that can vote.
The key
Where
is
you at? Where you at?
West Fargo.
Yeah. Hey,
Where the real ones are.
Hey, your mayor, he's running on the post. I met him. We were at a function together. He's a nice guy. I like him. Yeah.
Good. Maybe we'll bring him in.
Maybe. Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah,
John,
no.
you were saying.
I was just gonna say, even though I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that you talked about, we have differing views.
Exactly. And
I love the answer that you gave on why people should trust you, because I think you're right. I think you're gonna be scrutinized to the core.
Extent,
yeah, people are gonna just nitpick at every little thing you do. They're gonna hold you to a higher standard probably than the average person, and I think that is a strength for you.
It's a strength.
I think that's a strength for you. So I think for anybody that does have the privilege to vote in Fargo on this mayoral election, I think that's a really good strength that you hold right now, because
you're right on that,
whether your belief systems are aligned with everyone's or not, at least we can know and trust that you are going to be held to the highest degree in regards to that position as mayor. So that's awesome, and hats off to you for your run, man.
And I want people to understand too that even in the family, let me not include the children, just husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. We don't agree on everything.
Right.
My wife and I don't agree on everything. So how do you think 140,000, 141,000 people will all agree on the same thing?
Right.
Yeah.
We all would not agree on the same thing. What I'm begging the city for, let's look at the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. Let's look at the city. I'm ready to concede some of the things that I believe in for the good of the city. Right. Also, all of us should be willing to take a step back and say, this is not about me. This is about the city. I know I don't agree on this, but if this is going to benefit the greater part of the city, then I'm willing to concede. That is a healthy debate. So let the city come together. Let's come together. Let's develop that middle ground. I think we're going too far away from each other. And all Sekou wants to do is bring us back to our humanity. That's why I'm running on 4 things that I call Fargo PASS. PASS. P is for public safety. We need to reimagine public safety. I want to promote safe streets in Fargo so that everybody can come out all hours of the night and you can feel safe. I want to promote affordable housing. We need that. People have been priced out of Fargo. I want people who work in Fargo to live here, not in Barnesville, not in Castleton, not Hillsborough, not Horace. not West Fargo, not Moorhead. I want you to live in Fargo. Also, we're running the first S is service and community. And service and community, because I know those are not explained, is for, we have to develop programs for our seniors and veterans who are giving everything for this country and the city. We have to take care of them at this time of their life, but also I want us under service and community to create programs for our young people, because that will keep their minds off some of the extra things that they do when they are busy. It might help them to focus properly. Let's create programs for them. And of course, the last S is a smart growth, beginning with accountability, beginning with transparency and fiscal responsibility. I think our budget is not focused. So we're throwing top dollars behind some vanity projects that we should not be doing. Let's take care of our residents. Let's take care of our people. And let's City Hall listen. There's too much a disconnect between City Hall and the people that are led. Let's listen first and then make decisions later.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great outro. Thank you for that. Appreciate you coming on the show today, Sekou.
Let's have more conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This started off more like a podcast than a mayoral interview.
That was awesome. Yeah.
I really enjoy you guys. You guys are good at what you do.
Thank you, man.
I like the way we started off. We didn't just go straight into, it would have been so
dry.
It would have been too dry.
Yeah.
But we went around.
Too political.
Yeah. We whet people's appetite. We talked about other things. You know? And I love the way you put it. You said, I didn't agree with everything, but your answers were good. And I love all of your viewpoints. I respect you as guys, as gentlemen. I think you are just good. And I want to thank you for what you're doing here in Fargo. Anything we can do to promote this program, make it bigger, better, hey, I'm all in for it. Let's do it.
Awesome.
Let's get Fargo to the world. Let people know we are here.
Oh, yeah.
And that we're doing some good work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you.
Beautiful thing, man. Thanks again, Sekou. Appreciate you. Everybody else, don't forget to like, subscribe, share the channel. Tell your friends about us. Don't tell your friends about us. Talk good, talk bad. It doesn't really matter as long as you were talking about us. Peace.
Peace.